Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thank you for being with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Brendan Reichers in for Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the very comfortable First United Bank studio. It's finally starting to rain out there. It's raining. It's like a shower right now. Oh, it's 69 degrees too. The temperature has dropped. So I was wondering if it was going to come in. It kind of felt a little rainy this morning as I was walking outside, but high today is just 81 and tomorrow 84. So very un-September-like start or end of August because usually these games in early September, late August, Labor Day weekend, usually it's just brutal, from a heat standpoint, but it's not going to be the case today. So at any rate, take your umbrella with you this morning if you have it. So keep that in mind. All right, so we'll have Optimum Game Day Live coverage tomorrow for you here on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. It begins in 24 hours. What do you think people should look for tomorrow more than anything else, Jamie, from this football team?
What should they look for? The south end zone.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna look at that. You're gonna look at that and go, "Ooh, wow!" I mean, it's cool. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. I'm anxious to see it at night because I've not seen it at night. I've seen it during the day. I've seen it from the field. I saw it from the field on Monday, and it looks awesome. I'm curious to see it all lit up at night. The Double T scoreboard looks tremendous. And it's amazing how quickly they've gotten that thing up. When you think about, the last game of the 22 season into kind of where we are today, the start of the 24 season, tear something completely down and build something completely up. And they've wasted no man hours. There have been times it looks like it's almost a 24-hour operation over there. It was just earlier this week, or maybe even last week, the first time that I came to work and the stadium lights weren't on. I'm curious to see how much of the east side is cleared out from construction trailers and stuff like that. I know that we'd seen some reports about 60% of the parking was going to be restored, which would be great. And, just the congestion with the visiting team will be eliminated because that's now going to be in the northeast corner of the stadium as opposed to the southeast corner in front of the football building, which is now being rebuilt. So, I'm looking forward to the atmosphere and, the players running out there from the middle and the horse and all that kind of stuff. I was kind of really thinking more about on the field, the team.
I was just about to say, I think you just spent more time talking about it than I will spend staring at it on Saturday. Okay, that's fair. I think it's awesome. I've seen enough photos to see what or videos to see what it looks like, and I think it's going to be really impressive. I'm really excited about it, but I don't think I'm going to be looking at it once the game starts. Okay. I think I'll be focused on the football field. Okay. Again, we've talked about the fact that it's a team that really, if you're finding anything out, you're only finding out negative things, but things that I definitely want to see. I want to see you be able to protect the quarterback, and I want to see you be able to get after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, those would be the two things that on offense and on defense that jump out to me.
I thought this was interesting from Coach McGuire last night. He was talking about Tahj Brooks, and I think somebody asked him, when will Tahj break the record? And he said that he feels like that this year that Tahj is going to get his yards in a different manner. And that he meant by, instead of him having to break all the tackles that he had to break last year, he feels like that this year his yardage will come from longer runs, so that he'll have some breakaway runs, and that he'll have fewer carries than he did last year when he was carrying the ball 25 to 30 times. He said maybe even 15 times a ball game. So that might be something. And if that's the case, if he's breaking away and getting longer runs, then to me that's a case of the offensive line coming together and doing its job. Because they're going to open up holes and he's going to be able to burst through. We're not going to be able to tell that tomorrow because of the level of the opponent that you're playing. But as the season goes on, that might be something to kind of keep an eye on.
I hope that's the case. I guess I'm a little bit, timid in being certain of that. Coach was pretty confident in the offensive line last year, and
sure.
and then we saw Tahj have to do what he did, leading the country in broken tackles, and I think plenty of them were behind the line of scrimmage. So I hope that what Coach is saying is accurate. That would be absolutely huge. That would be massive, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for him to get through the line of scrimmage before he's having to make a move, before he's having to run somebody over, whatever. And we all saw last year he can definitely do that. So if you are giving him more space, it only makes him a better back.
He also was asked, he's like, okay, sitting here a year ago, did you think that Tahj Brooks would be back here a year from now? And he said no. He said he thought he was coming out. He said that 12 to 15 teams all had an interest in him, when they were coming through the football building last year, the NFL scouts. But he said that Tahj Brooks is on a quest to help take his team to a Big 12 championship game, which, man, your lips to God's ears, man. I hope that would be the great case. And then, if you get to that Big 12 championship game, if you're going to play on it, you might as well win it.
That's well.
Right?
No reason not to.
Might as well win it. Coach McGuire also said, with regard to Baron Morton, he said that Tuesday he had the best day he's ever seen him have in practice. Talked about how
dialed in at the right time,
throwing the ball deep and hitting receivers, and Baron has said that he feels as good as he's felt going into a season since high school. So you hope all those things are lining up just fine as well.
Getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Next, Jamie's question of the day.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, this is kind of it's kind of an odd one, but I'm just going to roll with it anyways.
Okay.
All right, and there are no wrong answers, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a test we can pass. I just want you to look to tomorrow's game, and if you get to pick one guy that shows out, that looks awesome, who do you want it to be?
I want it to be Baron Morton. I want to believe that I want to see the zip that I saw in practice the last time I was there. I want to see the ball go. I want to see it go deep. I want to see him throw a 50-yard pass. I don't care who catches it. Dre McCray would be fine with me. That's what I want to see. I want to see Baron Morton throw the ball with authority, with zip, all those things, and be protected. And I want to see him have an awesome day.
Okay. Good answer. Really good answer.
I want to see Micah Hudson ball out tomorrow. I really want to see him show his speed, his skill, his athleticism, his talent, everything that we think he can bring to the table as a freshman this season. I think he has the potential to have a really good game tomorrow. Of course, against a team like Abilene Christian, but you want to see that immediately from a guy who's been highly touted all off season.
All right, I think those are two really, really good answers. For me, I think it's Isaac Smith. I'm nervous about this team getting to the quarterback. Okay, and I really want, and not that you were awesome at it last year by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think if your defense is going to take it to the next level and you're going to be able to force more turnovers and do those things, got to get to the quarterback more. And from what we've heard from the coaching staff and from others in the know, Isaac Smith is one of the guys that they feel like can be the leader there.
Absolutely.
And so I would feel really good if we saw him come up with a couple sacks, and or maybe he's in the backfield a bunch and forcing some passes to be thrown away, or forcing just the quarterback to get rid of the ball earlier than he wants to. Honestly, I think another really good answer would have been Gino Garcia or your
Reese
other
Burkhardt.
Reese Burkhardt. I mean, because that's one of the things that we're all worried about at this point, right?
Yeah, because they've made us worried about it because they've said
absolutely.
They've said,
no.
I mean, if they had said, okay, and they meaning, and I appreciate the honesty, I really do, because a lot of times you don't get that. A lot of times you don't get we've made, Reese Burkhardt has made it a competition. Really? Why has he made it a competition? Well, because nobody's. And they doubled down on the answer, Coach McGuire did, which, again, I appreciate the honesty and the candor because the other one, Gino's not taken, he's not seized the moment. He's not made that decision for us, and neither has Reese. And Coach Kenny Perry, thank you. I had Patterson. I had all these different.
That's fair. That's fair.
I had Payne. Yep. I had a bunch of names in my head. So anyway, Kenny Perry, he said, they're both at about 82%. So yeah, it would be awesome if Gino Garcia would go out there and hit a couple of 42-yard field goals. The problem then we're going to go is, why'd that drive stall? It's like, what are we doing here? But
yeah, I think there are other good answers on the defensive side of the ball, like Harvey Dyson.
Yeah.
I think Amir Washington would be another one that's big for me. I don't list your two middle linebackers in there, and Rodriguez and Roberts, just because I expect them to be great.
Yeah.
We expect them to be good. We know what we have there. Maybe
again, John Curry, if he comes in and makes some plays.
Well, that would be fun because he's a local guy.
And they expect him to do well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Adedire, you could put him in the mix.
Yeah.
I think Josh Kelly, because we all think he's going to be a difference maker, could be an answer there. So there's a lot of them. I think probably in a question that has no wrong answers, I think probably the rightest answer is yours, Chuck, and Baron Morton. But, I mean, there's just a lot of different guys that, although we can't take too much away from anything, I think there's a lot of different guys that you could come out of the game going, okay, this guy looks like he's going to be a big-time player for us.
You know what I'm somewhat curious about is, I don't know if maybe this is just to kind of tap the brakes for everybody on the Micah Hudson hype, because, I mean, he is your first bona fide five-star recruit to come to football. But Caleb Douglas is your starting receiver over him. Now, is this to get everybody to tap the brakes and kind of just slow the roll a little bit, or did Caleb Douglas really beat out Micah Hudson? What was the difference there? That'd be a question I have, and that question has not been asked. I mean, because
I don't think that you're punishing Micah or whatever. I mean, from what we saw in scrimmage highlights, Caleb played really well.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe Caleb just beat him out. And it'll be interesting to see how many snaps he gets and things.
I mean, you don't pay that much money for a guy to sit at the end of the bench, right?
No, I don't think so. Speaking of sacks, because I think it would it surprise you to know that the Tech defense had more sacks last year than your opponents did?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
It would.
You did. You had 27 sacks last year. You gave up 24 sacks. Now, the cynic might say, well, you really weren't throwing the ball a whole lot there, Chuck, at the end of the season. The last 5-6 games, you're running the ball a lot. So the opportunity for the opponent to
That's
sack.
fair, yeah.
The opportunity for the opponent to sack you really wasn't there like it was at the beginning of the year. So, but I think you would love to see, like you said, a lot more pressure on the quarterback so that you're forcing fumbles, or you're forcing interceptions, or you're just forcing mistakes, broken plays, et cetera, which all stems from putting pressure on the quarterback. And so when you talk about Isaac Smith, they're real excited about him. He's number 17. He's 6'6". He's 260. And they're, he's a guy that's coming back from an injury. And then
he's the guy you want to get off the bus first.
Yeah. And then Harvey Dyson, the third, he's now in his third year, and they basically said, hey, the light switch is flipped for this kid. And he's now the starter on that outside linebacker spot, that rush edge. 6'3", 250 is what he's listed at. And both of those guys are real men.
I surely wouldn't tell them they're not.
Yeah. The guy that's questionable tomorrow, and I don't think we're going to see him, is Quincy Ledet, because I don't think you're going to need him. So get him fully healthy for Washington State and the rest of the year, and don't try to force something against Abilene Christian unless he's 100%.
Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
I have this written down, and I really don't have much of an opinion of it. I mean, I do, but I don't really want to give him much credence. But somebody's asked, and a couple people have asked about Tyler Shough's comments about the city of Lubbock. And do you have any take on that, or do you not even want to give him his due, other than to say?
I mean, for those that don't know, he was asked about his time in Lubbock, and his answer was it smelled like manure or something, right?
Yeah, cowboy.
I've
heard it. It's
just what other people say.
Yeah.
What my thoughts are on that. There's certain days and certain when it does smell bad in Lubbock sometimes. Okay, so I'm not gonna ignore the fact that it happens. Now, is it every day? And when it happens, is it the full day? No. Okay. All it says to me is that Tyler Shough, I mean, if that's the way he chooses to portray his time here, all that says to me is he did not enjoy his time here. I would like to say I also did not enjoy his time here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've enjoyed my time here,
yes,
but his time here, not so great.
I mean,
okay.
He insinuated that it smelled like blank, right? Okay, got that.
He came across to me very early on is extremely entitled. I think he was handled with kid gloves by our coaching staff. I think he was treated differently than other quarterbacks were, the way they protected him in the media, which all says to me that they knew he had a fragile ego. I think stuff that he put on social media while he was here, basically after he played terribly, acting as if he shouldn't be allowed to be criticized or questioned, was a joke. Okay? And I didn't think he was that good. And oh, by the way, you're in your 14th year.
Yeah.
You should be better. I'm only exaggerating a little bit. It's his 7th year. Okay? So I'm not hurt by it or any of that because I don't really care what Tyler Shough has to say.
Yeah.
Tyler Shough was the hype of Tyler Shough was way better than what was on the field. I hate it for the kid that he kept getting injured. I didn't want him to get injured, but the two guys behind him, I just thought were much better Red Raiders. And Baron Morton and Donovan Smith.
Look at Donovan Smith handled himself and how he left. Everybody understood it. Everybody got it. He's not been disparaging at all.
Yeah, he just came across to me as very entitled, and I hated him criticizing the quarterbacks behind him when he made his comment about, I knew I had to get back in here because what was left or whatever, which is a shot at Donovan and Barron. I felt like he put himself above the team with some of his comments. He just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And his play on the field wasn't good enough to feel like he should get away with it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why, in my opinion, he was handled differently than the other quarterbacks were. And I think because they knew, like, don't ruffle Tyler's feathers. Okay, we gotta walk around on eggshells around Tyler Shough. We don't want to insult him.
China.
Yeah, and so I was thrilled when he decided he was heading to Louisville, and
good luck to him.
Much happier with in my opinion, a true Red Raider leading our football team tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you said it well. I mean, he could have been gracious and said, you know what, I had a good time there. It didn't work out. It worked out to a certain degree because I'm here now. But he didn't have that in him to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to compliment Lubbock or Tech fans or anything. You just say, man, it was unfortunate I kept getting hurt. I couldn't stay on the field, so it was a bad time for me because I couldn't stop getting hurt.
They gave me an opportunity, and it didn't work out.
And that's no criticism of Tech or Joey McGuire or whatever. And now I'm not saying he criticized Joey McGuire, but it just for him to say that when asked about his time in Lubbock, and that's the only thing that comes to his mind, you can see he hated his time here, right? And he has no respect for anybody that's still here that loves this place, whether it be the school, whether it be the city, or whatever. That was meant at a shot at each and every one of us, right? Well, that's fine. You did your job, Tyler. Yeah. Didn't like you while you were here, and like you even less now.
Right.
So, have at it. Go. Good luck in the Grandpa's League.
8:21 this morning here on the morning drive. Thoughts?
Isn't it crazy, though, to think back to when he got here and there were rumors of him being the number one pick in the draft the next year?
Yes.
You want to talk about overhyped.
Boy, my goodness, no question.
But at the time, I mean, many of us, I feel like, were saying, how can... Explain to me again how he loses his starting job at Oregon, but now we're projecting him as the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
How does that make sense?
That didn't make any sense to me either.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That didn't make any sense to me either, that you could be that highly thought of and whatnot. Let me tell you something else from Red Raider football with Joey McGuire last night. You are gonna love this story. You're gonna love this story. I think you might even love this story better than the Tim DeRuyter not getting to hire Keith Patterson when he was at A&M because Dat Wynn came in and blew his socks off, and Joey McGuire doesn't get to go to Tulsa to replace Keith Patterson story. Okay? Jacob Rodriguez was there last night. Jacob Rodriguez is married. Okay? And his wife was there last night as well.
She's also married.
She's married to him. Take a wild guess what Jacob Rodriguez's wife does for a living.
She is a air traffic controller out at the airport. She tells plane when to land and when not to land.
No, she is involved. She is involved in things that fly. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. She is involved with things that fly.
Okay, I'm getting warmer.
She is a 2023 graduate of West Point.
Sweet.
She flies helicopters for a living.
Man, I feel like you can give me credit, right?
Yes, no, absolutely.
She tells things when to land and when not to land. She's flying a helicopter. She tells it when to land.
She
controls it. I was right. Nailed it.
They have a long-distance marriage because she is working right now on Black Hawk training in Alabama.
Sweet.
How about that? I mean, is that some kind of awesome or what?
That is definitely awesome.
Did you like that story better than the Keith Patterson story?
I did. I really did. Especially because I was right.
Yeah. Kind of right. Yeah, but you're...
I had no idea, right?
Yeah, no, I know. When you started that, I was like, maybe he does. Maybe he does know. But when you said air traffic controller, I'm like, well, okay. But still, I mean, the fact that you came up with an airport... Okay, that's the commonality. Okay,
right, sure. She tells things when to land and when not to land.
Right.
She controls the helicopter.
I see this as a win for Jamie.
I do too. I do too. That is really cool. And that doesn't surprise you, seeing how Jacob carries himself,
right?
That he would be married to someone that's, a military person of some sort that has that kind of discipline in their life and all those kind of things. So, yeah, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
But anyway, how about that? A 2023 graduate of West Point. I mean, it takes a special person to even get into West Point, let alone graduate from West Point.
No doubt.
And then to fly helicopters for a living. I mean, that's... I don't know.
Yeah, Bullfighter wants to know if she'll do a flyover for us.
That's what they should have done.
Let her pilot it. Missed
opportunity, but I don't know if she has that ability to just squire a helicopter like that.
Big plays and even bigger laughs. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
So we had a little summer hiatus. Now it's time to play the games, right? So Jeff McGuire has given me his pick. So you're competing against three other people. You, Jamie, Brendan, myself. We're all competing with Jeff in this, all right?
All right.
We'll start with Brennan. We'll start with a game that's going to be tonight. TCU at Stanford. I need a winner and score, please.
TCU wins 24-21.
All right. Jeff says Stanford wins 30-14. Jamie?
I'm going to take Stanford to win as well. I'll take a 28-24 game.
28-24. Well, I don't think Stanford is what they were. I don't necessarily think TCU is what they were a couple of years ago, but I think TCU is going to be just good enough tonight. And I think they win a little more handily than Brennan. 28-7, TCU wins tonight. Next, we take you to Morgantown, West Virginia, where tomorrow the Mountaineers play host to the number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions. They canceled school today in some of Monongahela County, the public schools, because of people coming in for the game because the roads were going to be clogged. Okay? Not at West Virginia. I'm talking about public schools in the mountains, I guess, as folks are coming in from Penn State.
Happy Valley?
Happy Valley. Thank you, Pittsburgh. I was thinking of all those little area towns. Jeff says Penn State wins 35-20. Brennan, what do you say?
Say West Virginia wins 38-31.
38-31. Jamie?
I'll take 31-20 Penn State.
Okay.
That's a lot of points for a Big Ten team.
It is. I think that Penn State is going to beat them down. I don't think they're going to get to 31, but I'm going to say 28-7 Penn State. Next, we take you to Houston and the home of the Cougars. They take on the Rebels, not necessarily the running Rebels, of UNLV. It's a 6 o'clock kick tomorrow night in Houston. Jeff has Houston winning 28-10. Brendan, what say you?
I will have the Houston Cougars winning 17-10.
17-10. Jamie?
27-20 Cougars.
27-20 Houston. I think they ball out with their new coach and with Donovan Smith. 35-3 Houston.
Can we get a count on number of times in your life that you have used the term ball out?
I think that might have been the first.
Okay.
I think that might have been the first.
All right, thank you.
But,
mark that one down on the board in there, Brendan. Okay, you see it behind you on the number of times Chuck uses the term ball out.
Okay.
One line.
Okay. Next, I have a high school game for you to pick. Okay? One high school game for you to pick today. Liberty at New Home. Jeff McGuire has Liberty winning 24-20. This will be Liberty's first ever varsity football game. Mm-hmm. You'll hear it on 93.1 Yes FM. Our coverage tonight begins at 6:30 from the home of New Home. Brennan, what say you?
Liberty 35, New Home 7.
Wow. Early hate for New Home. Jamie?
That just means it's going to continue and carry on. Just wait till we get to the end of this prediction.
I'm going to go 28-17 Patriots.
Liberty. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what?
Chuck is going to pick New Home.
I think New Home's going to win. I think New Home. No matter. It's no matter what. Now, if New Home wins, I win. So no matter what the score is.
New Home's biggest fan, Chuck Heinz.
That's right.
I think this is what we call healing. This is a healing moment.
Healing moment.
42-14. New Home over Liberty. It's a brand new school. It's a brand new team.
Yeah. I think it's a brand new field they're playing on.
I don't think they're playing at home. I think that this is at New Home.
Yeah.
New Home's a new.
New Home's a new.
Yeah, because last year they didn't have a scoreboard for a while.
Yeah. So last year the field was already there.
Yeah, I think the field was there at some point in time last year. It finally got there.
We're a little concerned, just peek behind the curtain, just because the press box is not completely made, or maybe it's not made big enough. I don't know, but our Liberty folks, broadcast crew, are supposed to be on top.
Hey, you know what?
And it's supposed to rain tonight.
You know what? You know what? All I got to say to them is one name: Vin Scully. Vin Scully, in his early broadcast years, was broadcasting a game from Fenway Park. Army was playing somebody, and Vin Scully, the venerable one, was doing the play-by-play. And at the end of the game, he gave the final score for a final time. And when he got done, somebody said to him on the street about a week later, "I heard your broadcast, man. You were really good. I bet you were glad you were inside, because, man, it sure was raining there at Fenway Park." And Vin Scully said,
I wasn't inside.
I wasn't inside. I was on top of the broadcast. And you will never hear me complain about the broadcast conditions. Okay? Now I need a score. Texas Tech and Abilene Christian. Our Optimum Game Day Live coverage begins tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. The Red Raiders and Abilene Christian University Wildcats will kick off at 6:30 tomorrow night, and you'll hear it right here on Double T 97.3. Brian Jensen, John Harris, and Chris Level on the sidelines. Jeff says Texas Tech 30, ACU 3. Jamie, Brendan, what say you?
Texas Tech 49, Abilene Christian 3.
Jamie?
Red Raiders win it 44-13.
60-29 is my score. Okay.
He had to get to 29. That was well done, Chuck.
60-29. And then finally, I need yards rushing for Tahj Brooks. Jeff says 112. Brennan?
I'm going to say 110.
Jamie?
72.
I had 85 in my head. That is upon further review. We'll review that Tuesday morning here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com.
Getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Good morning. Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire's out. Brendan Riker is in. Great to have you with us today. We get some things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Bobby Hot Dogs writes in, on the flip side, if New Home loses, it will be because Chuck jinxed them by confidently picking them to win.
What was your score?
My score was 42-14.
Mm-hmm.
Get this.
I've heard that New Home has a stud quarterback, so
okay,
it's good.
Raiders' dad just turned on the video stream. For a guy that doesn't want any awesome grandpa names, he is wearing a loud "Look at Me" shirt. It's awesome, but the math doesn't compute for JL.
I will agree. The shirt. First off, I don't think the grandpa names are loud "look at me" things.
Okay.
I usually think people on, what post on social media are "look at me" things. Okay.
That's what it is.
Or in fairness to the texter, or if you do your hair extremely loud, then it's that's kind of a look at me thing too.
Yeah.
And I think a shirt can be a look at me thing too. And so I just would say this shirt is not typical Jamie.
It is not. I got to be honest with you. I was shocked to see you wear it.
I saw it at Signature Stag, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun.
No, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
that is a fun. Yeah. That is a fun shirt, but it's just like
we don't think Jamie and fun in the same sentence.
You chose joy with that shirt. You chose joy with that shirt.
It's
by the way,
it's loud. It's loud.
By the way, I had looked at this earlier today, so maybe it was in my brain, but I didn't necessarily remember it when I gave you the score, because I was going to give you guys the score that you gave on July the 29th, which was a month ago when we did scores for Abilene Christian. Jamie had a score of 55-10, Texas Tech, and you're at 44-13, so that's pretty close.
When was that?
July the 29th.
Okay.
Brennan, I don't know if you remembered your score from July the 29th. Did you remember your score from July the 29th?
I mean, not necessarily, but I've always had in my mind, I think I'm pretty set on 49-3.
That was your score on July the 29th. And my score on July the 29th was 60-29. And again, that's what I went with. So that maybe we're onto something, Brendan. Maybe your brains are locked, not necessarily yours with mine, but with the past. So anyway, so there's that. And Jeff's score was 40-17, and his score today is 30-3. Okay. All right, we do this during like when the seasons are going on, right? Which is what we're getting ready to do. Statements of bold proclamation. Let's start with the aforementioned Jeff McGuire.
All right, for my first bold statement, Texas Tech will win the turnover margin on Saturday with at least 4 more turnovers than ACU has.
Ooh. Jamie?
All right, my first. I'm gonna stick with that one. It was gonna be my second one, but I'm gonna play it right after. I'm gonna go right after Jeff here with it. I'm gonna say that Tech forces at least 4 turnovers tomorrow, and wins the turnover battle by at least 3.
Okay. Brendan?
So my first prediction is at least 4 wideouts for Texas Tech will have 6+ catches.
Okay.
All right, so we're completing at least 24 passes tomorrow.
Yes.
At least.
It's a lot of passes.
Not for us, though. It's not.
I think this is simple, but I think this is bold. 500 yards offense plus.
Okay. All right, we haven't done that a lot recently. Yeah.
Okay, 500 yards offense plus.
Brendan, will you promise that all 24 are across the line of scrimmage? And none.
I'm not the play caller. I make no promises.
I think they're going to go down the field a little bit more this year.
I think they are, but I bet you they're going to use the screens, and I bet you we're much better at it this year than we were last year.
You know, when I saw Eric Ward yesterday, I should have said the other compliment that Jamie paid you was you had the ability to block downfield.
You should. That's what you should have mentioned first, because I think he would have taken more pride in that.
Yeah,
he would have said, "Man,
I'll see him again."
This Jamie guy. I mean, he's very astute. I'm glad he noticed.
I'll give him a Jamie compliment every week. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every time I see him,
he would have said, "I'm glad he notices I do the dirty work. It's not just about the celebration plays."
Who's this Jamie guy?
I bet that Jamie guy is so cool, and he wears cool shirts.
Yeah, and he's super fun.
He's super fun. Jeff's second statement of bold proclamation.
For my second bold statement, Texas Tech will outrush ACU by more than 200 yards.
Jamie?
My second bold statement is that 3 different Red Raider quarterbacks will account for a touchdown in this game.
Okay, so Baron Morton. Brennan. I had Brennan in my head. Baron Morton, Cam Brown, Will Hammond, or Jake Strong? Just 3.
3.
Could be. If it's Cam, Jake, and Will, we got problems. And
what if Jalen Conyers lines up in a wildcat taking a snap from the center? He's officially listed as a quarterback at that point, and that counts as well.
I don't think we'll see that tomorrow, but I think we're going to see that. I'm not certain.
Yeah, you don't want to show that.
Yeah. Brennan?
My second bold prediction is that the Texas Tech offensive line will give up no sacks. None to Abilene Christian.
That's
you
bold.
need that Brendan Morton guy to make sure he throws the ball away at certain times.
If it's Brendan Morton, then we're in trouble, folks.
In trouble. Yeah.
Might have a very hard time throwing the ball 20 yards down the field.
Baron. He spells it weird. Behren. Does
he spell it weird, or does his mom and dad spell it weird?
Well, they're the ones that spelled it.
He didn't really have a choice in that matter.
They're the ones that spelled it.
Hard to blame the kid for that, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. That's like the lucky lady. And I wasn't there. I wasn't there at the beginning, so I didn't have any say on this.
Didn't get a vote.
I didn't get a vote. Well, I didn't even know there was a vote to give. Okay, frankly, I didn't even know where this was then. Anyway, there's no E on the end of her name of Stephanie, so her name is constantly misspelled. But her mother wanted her to be confident as a woman, to be able to stand up for herself and say, no, my name is spelled Stephani.
Stephani.
Yeah, right. All right, my final bold statement is this. Texas Tech's defense will give up less than 250 yards. Okay?
I think that'll happen.
All right. That'll do it for us today. Have a great day, everybody. Stay as dry as you can. And do remember, the Department Store of Human Affairs, sports is, after all, the toy department. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.